Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure to welcome you here at the Press Club and also online as our press conference is being live streamed. We really appreciate your presence, especially in this very busy period on the EU agenda, so thank you very much again. My name is Agnieszka Nyka. I'm the Deputy Head of Unit Information and Communication at the EDPS, and I will moderate this press conference. It is my great honor to introduce Wojciech Wiewiórowski, the European Data Protection Supervisor. And by his side, Brendan van Alsenoy, the Head of Unit Policy and Legislative Consultation. As you're aware, this morning was a big day for us, for the EDPS, as the supervisor had the pleasure to present his annual report 2025 before the LIBE committee of the European Parliament. And by the way, you can access the documents on our website, on our homepage, in case you want to consult them either now or later. And just in a nutshell, as the digital landscape continued to evolve in 2025, we focused on acting for the future of data protection with some tangible and concrete actions marked by positive developments and also more challenging aspects. And this is exactly what we would like to touch upon today. We will start the press conference with a short talk with the supervisor. We have prepared 3 questions, so it will take around 20 minutes, and it's going to be followed by a Q&A session with our audience here. We will have 40 minutes, more or less. So unless, Wojtko, you would like to add anything,
I would like to welcome you all here as well at this next annual report press conference. A little bit additional, because as you know, formally the term of the EDPS has finished in the end in 2024, but still the selection procedure is on. So we are operating as the regulation gives us the power to.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's move on with the short Q&A that we have prepared. Wojtko, my first question is, in 2024, you took stock of the EDPS history, marking the 20 years of the institution. In your annual report 2025, you say that the past year was about moving forward, turning strategy into active governance, particularly in the field of artificial intelligence. What does that mean in practice?
Well, yes, 2024 was the year when we were looking back, but we said very precisely that the anniversary of the EDPS was the moment to summarize some of the things and look forward. And 2025 was already the year of consumption of this summary that we did for our 20th anniversary. That was also the year, the first one, where the AI Act was already on, and we had the pleasure and the duty to take the new role of the Market Surveillance Authority for the EU institutions, bodies and agencies as far as the AI is concerned. So we looked at artificial intelligence both from the point of view of the Data Protection Authority and from the Market Surveillance Authority's point of view as the AI Act forced us to do so. And I'd like to say that this was not the first moment when we started to think about the challenges that are given by the artificial intelligence. You shall remember that in 2016, EDPS has prepared the report on artificial intelligence for the International Conference of Data Protection Commissioners in Marrakesh. And in 2018, we have organized the conference itself here in Brussels, discussing about the challenges, ethical challenges of the new technologies. And for the work of the EDPS, that meant that we tried to realize our preparedness strategy. And we have created in 2024 and implemented in 2025 the network of the AI correspondents in all in all European Union institutions that enabled us to look at the the administration of the European Union from this perspective. And we also made the first check what is on the market and what are the European Union institutions do as far as the implementation of the AI is concerned. We also prepared the EDPS compass for our new role as the AI Act sets it. And the compass is built upon 4 mutually reinforcing pillars. So we are going to do the supervision of the EU institutions as far as the AI system is concerned. We, as EDPS, contribute to the AI Act governance. We are taking part in the work of the Artificial Intelligence Board. We take the institutional empowerments for the trustworthy AI and international engagement as far as AI is concerned. So this all creates the situation where we are at the same time the data protection authority looking at the AI, but also our role is to motivate the institutions to use AI in the right context and in the right way in practice.
Thank you very much, Wojtku. My next question. This morning in Libe, you told members of the European Parliament that 2025 was also a record year for policy advice, as the EDPS responded to 145 legislative consultations ranging over diverse topics from digital identity to targeted GDPR modifications. Could you please tell us more about your priorities in this area for 2026?
The year 2026 is the year of the changes that the Commission has proposed in the legal acts on data protection, but also the normal development of the digital law in the EU. In the beginning of the year, European Data Protection Supervisor, together with the European Data Protection Board, has adopted joint opinions on the proposals of AI Omnibus and the Digital Omnibus Act for the EU. Both proposals aim to simplify the EU digital regulatory framework and at the same time keep the level of the fundamental rights protection on the same level. There are also other fields in which we prepared the joint opinions with the European Data Protection Board. First of all, the Biotech Act and also the changes in the Cybersecurity Act and Cybersecurity Regulation and Digital Networks Act. And we expect that the second big wave of the changes that we shall assess will come with the proposals of the new laws in the area of justice and home affairs. Here we expect the legal acts dealing with the agencies like Europol, Eurojust, Frontex, but also EPPO, European Public Prosecutor's Office, and their scope of interest, their remit. We also expect a number of international agreements for the criminal justice and law enforcement cooperation, and we might even see the new initiatives on data retention. These are the things which were somehow prepared so far and which we had the information from the Commission that they are prepared. We also wait for the proposal of the Digital Fairness Act, not knowing to the very end what will be the scope of this legal solution.
Thank you so much. So let's move on to the last question. The EDPS will continue to fulfill its supervisory role, doubling down on ensuring accountability within EU institutions on all issues relating to data protection through investigations and audits. Could you please tell us more about that?
We have two main ways of preparing or rather three main ways of preparing our supervisory role towards this subject. We either take the actions ex officio, which are decided by the EDPS, but the priority is decided by the EDPS. We're following the complaints, and we also have the formal requirements to do the audits of certain systems regularly. So let's start with this complaint part, because that's a very important part of our activity, where we see quite a big increase in the number of complaints, and also as well those that we shall deal with, like complaints which are inadmissible, but they are directed towards EDPS. I'm touching that because especially in this second part, we got incredible rise, which was caused actually by the use of the artificial intelligence by the complainants. We had 5 times more inadmissible complaints than a year before. And when we tried to find the reasons for that, we found that certain generative AI tools are giving the wrong answers, giving the EDPS the role which it should not play. So actually, there are the complaints which are prepared in the generative AI tools with the mistakes in their merit. But that is, let's say, the accident. But what we can see is also the fact that we have more than 20% more complaints which are admissible and which we shall deal with in comparison to 2024. So this part of activity starts to be very resource consuming and starts to direct us our main road in supervision. Also, with the growing number of large-scale IT systems in the EU, the number of the audits that we should do compulsorily is rising. So the challenge for us is to do the supervisory job as well as it was done before and increase the quality.
Thank you. I think this gives us a great basis to start the Q&A now. So our audience will have 40 minutes to ask any questions you might have to the supervisor. When you do so, please state your name and the media outlet you're representing. My colleague Katerina will help you with the microphone. She'll provide you with the microphone. So please go ahead. Who's first?
Hi, Claudie Moreau from Euractiv. My question is regarding your last point on the increasing complaints that you're receiving and how this is draining your resources. Is this you asking for more resources from the EU specifically? And are you in talks with the EDPB? Because I understand that other DPAs nationally also having similar issues with AI.
I will start from the second part, saying that yes, several of our colleagues in the who are the data protection commissioners in the other countries of the European Union, but not only European Union, report that the number of complaints is rising, and also the quality of complaints Quality meaning the preparation of the evidence-based complaints by the person whose data was misused. And that would be the main answer to the second part of the question. If we think about the resources and the skills of our people working in the EDPS and also the financial possibilities of the institution, I'm always in the very difficult position because I would say that in comparison with many other data protection authorities, the DPS is not in a bad situation. We also have less complaints, for example, than the complaints coming to the national authorities. But if we compare the magnitude of the questions which are put there, the answer might change a little bit. At the same time, I can say that the growing number of the legal acts which are touching the data protection and privacy field, as well as the growing remit of the EU institutions and agencies, create the additional challenge to our resources. That will be very well visible, I guess, in the discussion about the new mandate for the agencies in the Justice and Home Affairs. Because we hear about the plans to make more active in the operational actions, make them, the agencies, more operational. And at the same time, it means that the data processing will grow incredibly. So we will have to keep the balance between the fact that we are adding new duties for the agencies and keep the oversight in the right way.
Thank you very much. We can take next question. Wait a second, we'll give you a microphone. Okay, thank you.
Ellen O'Regan from Politico. I understand that was the first question you were answering, but forgive me if I'm repeating myself. I wanted to ask you about the EDPS appointment process. You noted in your annual report that at the moment the EDPS can't come up with a new 5-year strategy because there isn't an official decision yet on who will lead the supervisor for the next 5-year term. Do you have any thoughts on the fact that the process is taking so long, or is there any update on the process?
I don't think that's correct to assess the process which I'm also taking part in. So I will not comment the decisions. I guess we have the situation where we have more candidates who are well prepared for the candidacy, but I don't know anything which would change the expectations for the end of this process. And I sometimes say that every day in the morning I'm checking if I'm still the European Data Protection Supervisor and what will be my future for the next years. But to go out of the humoristic approach to that, the only thing which we cannot do is the strategy for another 5 years. That's something which I would not be fair to prepare right now. The other duties of the EDPS are completed normally, and we are acting as EDPS was in the past and will be in the future.
Thank you. We're ready for another question.
Hi, Gaia, EU Observer. I wanted to ask you about the steps being taken to scrutinize and regulate the expanding Israeli data protection boundaries, especially with regards to NGO and humanitarian organizations.
generally, what is our position on that? Could you please repeat again?
I wanted to ask about the steps being taken to greater regulate and scrutinize Israelis' expanding boundaries on their data protection.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear one of the words that you used. Okay. I didn't know which action you were asking for. Now I know.
Okay, yeah. Especially with regards to humanitarian organizations and NGOs, which are being required more data.
Okay, so as well as the other data protection commissioners in Europe, we've been contacted by the NGOs and by the civic society representatives on the problem of the data collected by the Israeli government from the NGOs that were operating in the Gaza Strip, and together with our friends from the European Data Protection Board, we try to approach the problem and to get to know what exactly is going on, what data is concerned, and where the data is going to. The EDPS is not taking part in any of these actions himself, and we are only coordinating our work with the other data protection authorities. But we are sure that there is a topic to discuss as far as the data sets collected by the Israeli government is concerned. So we didn't take any action like opening the pre-investigation or investigation, since these are not the fields of activity of the European Union. These are the data of the citizens of the EU, however.
Thank you. I wanted to ask you about your supervision of Europol. This week there was an investigative report from journalists at Corrective and others about a secret IT system that Europol is using. Are you aware of the investigative reports? Were you aware of this IT system, and are you going to take any action? Thank you.
We value very much the work of the researchers who have prepared this material, and we heard about the idea of presenting such a report earlier. We've been also contacted by some of the researchers before for the opinion. On the other hand, I can say that we don't find these databases that were mentioned there so secret. These are the things which were supervised and inspected by the EDPS and also presented to us by Europol itself. We have to remember that before 2017, Europol had quite a lot of different ecosystems of data that were in use, and that was from 2017 when it started to put it to the level expected by the new regulation. In 2019, it started to concern the platform which is called Computer Forensic Network, and that's, I believe, the one which the researchers had the most problems about. We knew about the discussion inside Europol on that, and from the very beginning we were involved in the matter, not as an advisors but as a supervisors. And we took number of actions, including the corrective measures like admonishment, but later on the ban as far as the part of the data is concerned. And we also informed both in the annual reports and the public reports to the joint scrutiny group of Europol on the evolution of this. In this field, we call the whole problem big data challenge, because that's the challenge which is going out of this very named platforms and concern the whole data collection process in the Europol. As far as the second system, which was named the internet-facing operational environment quick response area, that was a system which was prior consulted by EDPS. Of course, in the articles that were presented, there are some other accusations on the construction of this system. We know it as one of the ex-ante controlled system, meaning controlled before it was started to be operational. And I may say that even in February this year, in preparing materials for the Joint Scrutiny Group for Europol, which is the European Parliament and the national parliaments body, we treated this as the good example of prior consultation. So I'm not surprised of the matter. That's the matter which is under our radar and which we were also informing for a longer time. And we should also look a little bit more cautious to the work of those people who are mentioned there. For example, the data protection function in the Europol, who is the author of some of the internal documents that were revealed. That's exactly his role. That's exactly his duty, what he was informing the management of Europol about.
And Alan, again.
I have some follow-up questions about
great,
Europol, which is why I jump in now. So you're not surprised by this IT system, but do you have any outstanding concerns? It would be my first question. And second question, we're expecting a reform of Europol later this year in June 24th, a new Europol regulation. And as mentioned in your annual report, there's an ongoing case between the EDPS and the Parliament and Council over the last Europol regulation and privacy concerns. Looking ahead to this new regulation proposal that's coming in June, are you going to be looking out for anything in particular when it comes to data protection and making sure that there's red lines and safeguards there?
Well, I can say that there are the institutions and bodies of the European Union which are, of course, quite often clients for the supervision, and it's nothing wrong with it, and it's nothing strange in it. And definitely Justice and Home Affairs agencies are the agencies which we are looking at very carefully. I always have the problem to tell if these are concerns what we have against their activities. Is it against their activities? We rather think that all the actions which are taken by the law enforcement authorities shall have the independent oversight. And this part of the oversight which is given to EDPS shall be the most effective and the most practical. So we may have concerns about the future of the oversight, but it's not necessarily the concern against the actions which are going on. I may say that the way that we were dealing with the computer forensic network is probably one of the examples of how the things will be done in the future as well. But as I said today to the parliamentarians during the annual report, commenting the very similar question to that, I would say that we are missing the right toolbox of the actions that we can take in such situations. Actually being able only to either admonish the fact that how the processing operation is done, or to ban it, in effect. The decisions in the middle, let's say, are very limited for us. So part of these systems which were collecting the data in Europol and at some point really contained more than 90% of the whole data set of Europol, come from the times previous to 2017, and the Europol is trying to put them in the compliance mode with the law that exists.
The second question about the Europol regulation upcoming in June.
But that's actually the same answer. Whatever will be changed in the regulation, we will try to ensure that the oversight still exists, and that this is not only ex post actions, but also ex ante, because the role of ex ante supervision, the prior consultations and consultations of different kind, is actually very practically positive for the systems which are deemed to be compliant in the future.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions?
Hi, Wojciech. We have received a question online
Yes.
by Laura Linkomies from Privacy Laws and Business. And her question is, what is the EDPS view on the planned information exchange between the EU and the US for the purposes for security screenings and identity verification related to border procedures and visa applications?
We have prepared the opinion on that, and issued it during the process. We understand the reasons for which the framework agreement is prepared, and we think that it may have the good implications, because if we leave such a solution to the bilateral contacts between United States and the members of the European Union, we will have another FATCA agreements, which we remember from the previous years. And the framework itself may help in the assuring the standards of the privacy protection, but the final construction of that is not too clear for us.
Thank you. I'm looking at the audience. Any other questions, perhaps? Yes? Great. Yes.
Can I ask you about the AI omnibus, the deal that was reached in the early hours of this morning? Do you have any thoughts about the final result or any outstanding privacy concerns?
Well, out of two omnibuses that we were opinioning this year, so AI Omnibus and Digital Omnibus, AI Omnibus was less controversial for the data protection authorities. I cannot say that I'm happy of the changes of the deadlines that were in the AI Act, but on the other hand, I have to admit that some of them, some of these changes had the very, I would say, real reasons, yes, and well, justified reasons. That does not change the position of the EDPS itself as an institution, and as I said, that was not that fully controversial. I may probably ask Brendan to say a few words more, because that's his team who was preparing the answer from us.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for the question. As the supervisor highlighted also earlier today, we were very much gearing up to this 2nd of August date. We see that there's now also going to be a bit more delay and time for companies and public bodies to prepare. I think in terms of the recommendations that we made in our joint opinion, we were quite satisfied with the elements that were taken on board, particularly in relation to the use of special categories data for bias detection. I think that was one of the main focal points. We're quite happy with the way they were taken on board.
Thank you. Any other questions? We still have some time, so don't be shy.
I can go again.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Given how quickly the AI omnibus has been negotiated and concluded, is that any food for thought, or do you have any reflections on how the digital omnibus might go? Many say it's going to be a lot more complicated. You said yourself it's a little bit more.
As we know, the Council has already developed quite far in the discussions on the digital omnibus, while the Parliament is at the beginning of the discussion. Well, I heard many dates that were declared by those taking part in the process, but that will be definitely more difficult process in the Parliament, first of all. And secondly, there are the questions which are more substantial than the change of the deadline, and there are the questions which are more controversial among the countries and the parliamentarians than the one which were added in the AI omnibus. I mean the problem of the erotic deepfakes.
Thank you. And I repeat my question. Are there any other questions? No, no questions online, I guess. No other questions? No. Okay. Are we sure there are no more questions? Okay. Then I believe we can close the conference. Thank you very much once again on behalf of the supervisor here and all of us at the EDPS. Thank you for your participation, for your attention. Just a very quick note, again, a reminder, annual report is available on our website, same for the executive summary, same for the supervisor's speech given this morning before the LIBE committee, and also our press release that was published right before the press conference, so it's all there. And also follow us on social media. We recently joined Blue Sky, so please follow us. Let's stay in touch over there, and thank you very much. See you next year.
Thank you very much.